The person I was like at my very first job is completely different from the person I am now. Hi, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today is a more design focused video and I'm going to share with you how being a product designer has made me a better person. So first of all, what is a product designer? A product designer is someone who designs interfaces, user experiences, apps, websites from start to finish. For me as a product designer, I start with the user research. Researching, is this a feasible idea? Is this something we can build? Who are the competitors, etc. And then I do wireframing, which is simple grayscale representations of what the product is going to look like. Product being the website, the app, the digital product, the Apple Watch app, whatever we're designing. And then I go into user testing those wireframes just to see, can people follow the journey? Are users able to complete the task? Then I go into high fidelity wireframes, which is a bit more color, or you go into final designs and then you user test that again and then you send it for development. That is the really rough overview of what a product designer does. How is being a product designer something that makes me a better person? The first thing is embracing ambiguity. Working at startups, you are just going to miss information. There's just going to be gaps, knowledge gaps, and you have to make do. You have to help yourself. The person I was like at my very first job is completely different from the person I am now. At my first job, I asked permission for everything. I was like, is it okay if I do this? How do I do this? Can you help me with that? Of course, I was a junior. I was fresh out of university, so that was expected. And then I was thrown into my second job, which was at a startup in Singapore. And suddenly I had to think for myself because I was the only designer on the team. I had come from working with a large team of UX researchers, content strategists, fellow designers, design leads, UX leads, and me being a service designer, to moving to this job in Singapore where I was the only designer on my team, working very closely with engineers. That was the first time I worked super closely with developers. And startups are so fast-paced. They just work at lightning speed and you have to release a feature in 2 weeks. In these 2-week sprints, this is what Agile is as a working methodology. So I went from working 6 to 8 months on a single client project to having 2 weeks to build, test, and release a feature. So I had to learn to embrace the speed, number one, and the ambiguity. You don't always have the information. That meaning the product manager will come to you and say, we have an idea, we need to improve conversion for this metric, make some designs that will improve this metric. And I would be like, okay, what do you want me to do? And he would be like, you're the designer, you should do it. And that's really the skill that I learned while working in Singapore, is just do it. You are the designer and there's more importance to your job than you think. Being a junior designer, I used to think I need permission from all my seniors for every decision I make. And now being a senior product designer, I'm like, I'm in charge. I can do what I think is right. And obviously I have someone above me who checks it, but I can do what I think is the right way to do a design, and then you test it with users. So embracing the speed and the ambiguity made me someone who's open to change more. I used to be very not accepting to change. I still don't like change very much, and that's contrary to popular belief because I've moved countries so many times. I've lived all over the world. I like to travel, I like to experience new cultures, but when it comes to my daily routine, please don't change it for me. I like to have my mornings to myself, my evenings for journaling, spend some time in a coffee shop in the day. That's how I like to spend my day. And when there's change, I get stressed. But being a product designer, working under so much pressure at work and so much speed has really helped me to become adaptable to change and to speed as well. I'm able to work much faster, even in my personal life, like on my YouTube videos, on my blogs. Being a product designer, you're very process focused. You have to have user flows, you have a journey that you work through, you have steps that you do in the user research and UI UX design phase, and then the post development phase for QA testing. So there's this process you need to follow, and that has made me a lot more process orientated in my language learning and my personal life. So in about 2020 or 2021, I started a language learning journal, and I used the agile methodology from being a UX designer and working in agile sprints, and I applied it to my language learning. So I would take the 2 weeks, or I would take a week of my language learning, and then I would pause and analyze and say, how did this week go? What do I want to continue? What do I want to stop? What do I want to change? What do I want to keep doing? So that was a really good approach for me, and I learned to be more process orientated in having specific schedules, having work methods, and having ways of reviewing my language progress. So that was something that I picked up from being a product designer as well. And also, I just think it makes me a well-rounded person. I do languages, I do design, I do public speaking, I do language coaching. Being a product designer is just one aspect of my life, which I'm so grateful for, and I love my job. So that's about it. That's all I have to say about how being a product designer has made me a better person. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was interesting for you. Thanks for having a glimpse into my life as a designer, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye!